Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to share with you the 12 layouts that I created for 12 days of past, present, and future. This was the Trends series Daisy and I did this round, and I'm excited to share with you everything I created. So here is the very first one. This is for the past. We did 4 past episodes, and the first one was color blocking. So do you remember that style where it was very much like not even split down the middle, but like there would be blocks of color everywhere? That used to be a very popular trend back in the day. I softened it just a little bit with my mists and everything to create it more of a modern look for it, and was able to document Barrett and his first bath with it. So pretty pleased. I used some sequins as well, just kind of that rain feeling because it's a bath, and all the little bits, tiny bits of pieces here and there, but definitely trying to highlight the color blocking for this layout, along with of course some stitching and trying to use up some scraps there. The second one for the past trend was layering. So layering tons of layers was a very big trend as well. It still kind of is. It depends on what your personal style is, but tons and tons of layers was something that I used to see a lot and is what inspired me to do my layering. So that is where that one came from. This was using a beautiful collection from Altenew. I meant to use it all up in a collection for How to Kill a Kit with Style. Never got there, just this one layout, so I need to pull that out during my spending freeze and definitely get some more used up. But this one is to document Sean's birthday. He turned 35 this year, and a bunch of just random photos I took there to highlight the fact that it's a birthday and they're Sean let Jackson help blow out the cake, so a little cake stand there. I really like that idea. I've done that on a couple layouts, again with the sequins, and then a little bit of a diagonal approach there, but all of my layers are underneath here. There's some tissue paper, and then I think there's 1, 2, 3 layers of pattern paper plus all of the bits popping up behind it. The third past trend, now this is not something I do very often, so this was a hard trend for me to do, but I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out, was to do a double page spread. So again, not the easiest thing for me. It's not my go-to style, but I was able to make it work with doing my hand stitching that I am known for. I do a lot of hand stitching, and using a modern, like a this year line really helped me to get it done. And I do like that I have a photo of Jackson from this year taken, mixed up with some of past photos of him playing in the water, and just kind of talking about his love of water, because he is definitely my water baby. 2 pagers, I don't remember that. And this line, at least most of the embellishments are from the Simple Stories summer line from this year. And the final trend from the past that we played with is the one title, or really big titles, if you remember that, where it was like cherish or loved or just, you know, blessed. I think that was one. So just a simple one-word title that was very popular. I did try to do that, but I needed to add in one little extra word, but I made it smaller so that the big word kind of stood out. And this one, if you are watching this and had watched the process video, I did add a little bit more to it. It was a little too simplistic for me. So I went in, and these little navy blue leaves are from a Dear Lizzy pattern paper. It's the one that has that really fun yellow paper with it as well. And I just fussy cut out all the navy to add it in. I also went in and hand stitched, I believe. Yes, I don't believe the stitching was there when I did that. And I also stitched around the tree as well, and then just a couple added embellishments, so not a ton more, but a little bit, all to help highlight my little boy. That's Barrett's toes, so I have Barrett's toes documented and Jackson's toes documented, and I have Nora's toes to do too. So they're just so cute when they're little. They've got special, unique little baby toes. So that is the 4 past trends that we used. Now for present, we did things that you are seeing right now. They're all over the place, and one of those things is rainbows. You see rainbow themed layouts everywhere, so we definitely wanted to highlight that. Again, I did mine in a little bit of a different take. I used some watercolor markers that I have and just kind of put the color out. So instead of doing an actual rainbow in that sense, I did it this way. And then I highlighted the rainbow colors with the word rainbow. And this is a beautiful stamp that I received from Daisy. It's Daisy's font actually. And of course I don't have the right ink, and so you can barely see it, but it is there. And once I have some better stays on, I'll be able to work with that. 2 photos of myself and Jackson when we went out for a walk. I do believe this was right after Nora was born, so it was us getting out and being able to be out while Sean was home with Nora. So this is a couple years ago, and yeah, just I try to do some color, you know, tone on tones with my embellishing, and then just really kept the rainbow theme going there. And then the smushing technique or mixed media kind of in general, I kept mine very subtle. I did want to show, and this is not done, I don't like the way that it's laid out, so I have a bit laid out, but I haven't figured out my final design as to why these pieces move around. I'm not quite done with this one. But it's to do the smushing technique. So I did it in a more subtle way, something that if you're not comfortable with mixed media, this is a really good way to do it, is you find a color that's close to the pattern paper you're using, and basically it's just a little added texture to it versus like the other layout that you just saw, which you can definitely see all the colors. This is just kind of peeking through there. So that is what I did that for. And this is documenting Canada Day, which I've done this photo before, but I kind of wanted to do, like, this is her first one and this is the one from this year. So she's, you know, this is her third Canada Day, even though she's only 2, right? Because, so anyways, that's kind of what I wanted it to be about. But like I said, I don't have everything all kind of out correctly yet. So that one goes back on my desk to work on when I've got the chance. And then here is the wreath theme, which, I mean, wreaths are everywhere, especially this spring. They were absolutely everywhere. And so we definitely wanted to highlight that. Mine went a little wonky. I struggled with how mine kind of was turning out, although I am very happy with how it is now. I did struggle with this particular layout, and I ended up deciding again, I'm using a bunch of Dear Lizzy, and this one Trying to Kill, I got a beautiful mini kit from, it's not even a mini kit, I got a kit from Christina that was with the Dear Lizzy Colorful collection, and so I'm trying to use it up because I don't want to keep things in my stash, and I just kind of tucked in my photos in like a staircase type manner, and then did that with, there's a ribbon and there's stitching, hand stitching along with machine stitching and all sorts of stuff. And then this is just, they made me brunch for Mother's Day and a bunch of little bits and pieces, some butterflies, some thread, I'm not sure what that's doing there, and it's, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but there is one of the bows that are like kind of see-through there. So there's that one. And then cut files was our last theme for the present. They're everywhere. Daisy is the queen of them, so definitely if you want better tips on how to use cut files, head on over to her channel. She almost, I don't think, even creates a layout without a cut file anymore because she's so good at it. So definitely go head on over and look at her beautiful layouts with them. But I, again, wanted to do mine in a bit of a more subtle way because I like cut files and I am getting into them, but they are not necessarily me. They're beginning to be, but they're not. So I wanted to do it in a way where you see them. They're there, they're in my title as well. So I've used them, but still it's more of a, you know, traditional layout where it's not screaming, hey, you used a cut file. So just a different take on it was my plan. I want to show the differences in what you can do with your scrapping. You don't have to do just what you see everyone else do. You can make it to your own as well. And this one is a photo of Nora holding Barrett. This was kind of the first time she was, she wanted to hold him. So she was a little, not off-put. She didn't dislike him. She just kind of ignored him. And so this was kind of the first time she was like, oh, I'll hold him. So it was pretty cute. And I love this little sticker that says, I might be catching feelings. So yes, yes, yes. And again, hand stitching. You see that a lot in my layouts. And then to the future. This was probably the funnest phase of this series for me. I had a lot of fun kind of going outside, maybe not outside my comfort zone, but things we thought you're going to see a lot more of, and it was just really fun. So the first one was to use purple and teal. We think that color mixture you are going to see. And I had this fun photo of Nora. She got a baby doll for Christmas, which is A Doll for Christmas, the title. But the filter and the way it was taken, it led to being able to use purple and teal really well. So I grabbed that photo, backed it with teal, and then used the purple in other places. I did use a cut file that's meant to be flipped over to add a bunch of texture. I, however, just cross-stitched it so it was flat down, and then just added little embellishments here and there, along with some sequins. And to add a little pop of color, I added in the gold as well. So pretty pleased with the way this turned out. I really love it. Very non-traditional Christmas colors as well, which is kind of fun. And it's just going to go into my layout for my album for 2018 of Miss Nora and her doll, because she loved it. It was her big present of last year. And then, sorry, I have like 5 cars passing us right now. That's strange. This one was fun as well. It was to do a see-through embellishment, like a transparency type effect where it was a large part of your layout. So I went the route where I created my whole layout on a transparency. However, knowing it was going to go into my album and it was going to have to be backed against whatever it was, I did decide to use a pattern paper, and you can see I glued it down, the title down. I liked just the effect that it brought, but I did start with the whole layout just on the transparency. So really fun. Again, I'm using cut files. This particular one I received from the Creative Cuts Club, and again using that Dear Lizzie collection, trying to use it up there. Some photos from this summer. Actually, these were actually in the spring, but it was really warm, and I love it. I think it's fun the way I layered my photos with the cut file itself, all on a transparency that I stitched, so this mermaid is not going anywhere. And I glued, like when I glued things, you just glue where you know you're not going to see it. So had this not been on this piece of pattern paper, you would be able to go ahead and do that. So really, really fun. I really had a lot of fun playing with this, and I want to get my hands on one more sheet of transparency and maybe do something like this again, because it was a ton of fun. And then here is one where rainbow is literal. So the next one was to use texture. Now, just looking at this layout, I'm sure on camera you can see the texture, but in person you look at this and all you want to do is touch it. It is so much fun. I love the way it turned out. I was playing with crepe paper, and I think that's how you say it. And I did it, it was all in white. I really liked the way that looked, but I wanted to do something more. And I was in the right in the middle of the start of a scrap party for Secret Not Secret Kit Club, and the theme was to be super themey. And so I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I went rainbow. So I went rainbow on my pattern paper, rainbow on my title, so to speak. I did an actual rainbow with some more there, and the photos are about Nora's rainbow pajamas. So really a lot of rainbow. I used some Maggie Holmes and just a bunch of things. These sequins even have rainbows in them. So yeah, I had so much fun with this layout. Probably my favorite layout of the whole series, with maybe perhaps the exception of my very last one as well. But I just had so much fun. So definitely, if you have not done this technique of coloring on crepe paper, do it. You can. You have to be a little bit careful, but it takes it. So have fun and play. And then finally, our last layout and the last future trend was to create a layout outside of your comfort zone in one another's style. So Daisy is known for her beautiful pieced together large normally animals. She's done a ballerina before. That is what she does. Maybe not as much now as she used to, but it draws your attention in, and it's just really fun. And so I knew I wanted to do that. Super outside of my comfort zone, not something I do very often at all. So I wanted to bring that in, go ahead and do that. So I backed this cut file. I received it in a kit from Christina. I did try to make sure that you can see my photo. It's a really cute kind of just everyday photo of them, the three together. But really the whole point is to document their nicknames that Sean and I have for them. And that's represented within Jackson. We don't necessarily call him our fox, but foxes represent Jackson in our life. So there's the big old fox there. There's a little tiny bear because Barrett is our baby bear. And Nora, which we call her a few different things, but she is our princess. And so I made it girly so that was shown with the theme of that to coordinate in with her as well. So there you have it, 4 future, 4 present, and 4 past trends. We had so much fun creating all of these for you. We are going to do one more round this year. We are thinking about doing something a little different, however, and we're gonna have 6 layouts for fall and 6 layouts for winter. So it'll probably be split up. We'll probably do the first 6 in October and then the last 6 in December for you. And we'd like to hear if you have a certain theme, or category, or just challenge you'd like us to do for that. If you want to leave them in the description box below, we'd love to include that for you and do something fun that you can see both of us do. I will be in the middle of my spending freeze then, so you're going to see me use a lot of scraps and all that sort of stuff. And I'd also love to know and hear from you about which layout from this round that I created was your favorite. I always like to know which one is other people's favorites, because everyone has such different tastes. So leave that down below. Please make sure you head on over and check out all of Daisy's layouts. I'm not sure if she's doing a layout share or not, but if she does, I will eventually link it if she does do that. And thank you everyone so much again for your love and support. We really do adore this series, and we are bringing it back in a couple months, so stay tuned. Bye everyone.